time. So penultimately, we come to the finalist who has made the ultimate Ultima Thule journey well over 10,000 miles from down under to up on this stage. Our first ever FameLab Australia winner, Dr. Michael Smout, is a Brisbane-raised, Cairns-based geek since the age of 6, who is now a parasitologist working with the Queensland Tropical Health Alliance. His research has spanned melanoma and childhood viral infections, but, as he puts it, through a convoluted series of wonderful events, he now loves all things wormy and toxic. And he wants to share that love now. A very warm welcome, please, for the reigning Aussie FameLab champ, Michael Smout.
I want you to imagine you're in your bathroom. You slip over, you fall, you hit yourself, maybe even cut yourself. What if you had magic bandages that could supercharge that healing? Heal it right away. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Who likes to travel? Who's been to Southeast Asia? Are you one of the 800,000 Britons who go to Thailand every year? Well, maybe you need to be a little bit more careful. If you like to eat the local cuisine, if you've eaten raw fish, maybe you've brought home a friend. Teddy's been to Thailand. He loves to travel. He goes to all the remote places. He eats some raw fish. Unfortunately, he brought home a friend as well. But luckily, I'm a doctor. I can help. This is Teddy's liver. Teddy brought home Larry the liverworm. Now, unfortunately, the ones we can catch aren't quite as cute. They're about the shape of a leaf and the size of half a matchstick, and you can get hundreds if you eat a lot. What's the problem with getting the liverworm? Well, we've found that it secretes a growth factor that supercharges that wound healing. So what's it doing in you? Well, it's munching around your liver, causing wounds, then healing them up, causing wounds, healing them up. Now, in the short term, this is great. It wants you to be nice and healthy. It's going to live for decades. But over the long term, over the decades, it eventually can cause damage. And that eventually can lead to liver cancer. And as you can imagine, that's a problem. This particular type is deadly and kills within a year. As a tourist, it's not particularly a problem because you can take a pill. That'll get rid of it. And don't worry, your sushi's fine. But where it is a problem is for the 900 million local Thais who have this disease, and 20,000 of them die every year. So we're working to use this growth factor to create a vaccine to help these poor, impoverished Thais. But what does this mean for those of us not infected with the worm? Well, by understanding this growth factor, we believe we'll be able to supercharge our wound healing. It won't give us Wolverine-like superpowers, but it may create super bandages. We've got evidence that by adding this growth factor to a gel, we can double the speed of wound healing in just 2 days, which is particularly handy, especially when there's large groups of people, the elderly, diabetics, and military personnel, who have wounds that just don't heal. So we believe by adding it to bandages or adding it to gels, we'll be able to supercharge their wound healing and help these wounds be able to heal up properly. So to summarize, don't eat raw fish in Thailand, worm spit causes cancer, and magical bandages may be just around the corner. Thank you.
I've heard they use maggots in wound healing. Is it different to that?
That's more getting rid of the bad tissue,
Okay.
but that is part of it. I'm not sure whether they actually have much of a factor. I think that's more removing the badness, whereas this is actually helping healing this is maybe more in ulcers rather than wounds in that sense.
Okay.
So I keep hearing that the magic bandages story, and there's loads of wound healing, technologies out there, molecules they're finding the whole time. What makes yours special? Because this story's been around for a bit, and if it really worked, we'd all be getting our elastoplast and just sticking them on and everything would be fine. Clearly, it's not that easy, is it?
No, it certainly isn't. And our work's still very early. We've only come up with this a year and a half ago. I've been working on this for a decade on more the cancer side. But finding out how it will be able to help us is a new angle. And certainly anything like this needs to go through a lot of testing to actually become a product.
So how does it do the wound healing? And will it heal, like you slice a brain, will it heal the brain, you know, or does it do just specific tissues?
Short answer, I don't know. Long answer, probably. This growth factor is very similar to what we use. It's actually granulin. It's what we use in our wound healing. And despite they've been known about it for 2 decades, there's been very little work in actually finding out how it's doing what it's doing, actually because it signals so many different ways that it's really challenging to work on. And so most likely it would help pretty much everything because it's a very universal growth factor found within us.
Of course you're going to tell me that.
For the layperson, apart from saying that Wolverine was my favourite X-Men, what is a growth factor?
Anything that causes your cells to change their number, generally increasing or change the growth. So, for instance, if it causes one cell to turn to 2 cells, that's causing growth.
In this case, what is it?
That's exactly what it is. It causes your cells actually to go into hyperdrive and just replicate many, many times faster than they normally would, or not at all as in a normal situation.
A tricky one. How do you create a vaccine out of a growth factor then?
Probably
And a very short answer as well.
Probably by chopping it in half so it doesn't have its growth factor capabilities, but can still create a vaccine.
Okay, he brought on a teddy bear, a giant worm, and a velvet liver. One gift for each judge. Please thank the gifted Michael Smout. And people of Cheltenham know that your MP dreams of having adamantium claws.